Well, I'll continue to maintain current levels of funding for our tourism branding. Virginia's for Lovers has been through a cycle of branding and advertising outside of Virginia, a good level, steady state. One of the things I've done over the years is I've been an intellectual property attorney. I know how important branding is, including for a state, and for us to maintain the push on Virginia tourism is something that I consider to be very important. It's such a big contributor to Virginia's economy, something that I strongly want to support. I'll fight against any attempt to raise Virginia's minimum wage above the federal level. I'll certainly resist living wage type of legislation as I have in the past. That is something that I think you'd see as a difference in this race, and it's very important in the service industries. I also support legislation that provides immunity for restaurants against obesity claims and these kinds of creative litigation, if you will, that threatens our tourism industry. And that's something that an area where Virginia's been very good in the past. We're not a willy-nilly liability state. We've been very strict in controlling liability in Virginia. That's something that I support doing. I've been supportive, and I have a track record of doing it in the state Senate, and I'll continue to do that as governor. I also think it's important in the service industries to recognize how important our right to work is. I am not a supporter of unionization in this area. I believe in freedom of choice, including for employers. My opponent walked a picket line for a hotel last time he ran for governor. I think that's something that should mortify, frankly, hotel owners and people in service industries to look ahead to the prospects that that holds for them with a governor who wants to help unions get a foothold in Virginia. That is not something that would serve our tourism industry well at all. It hasn't worked well in other parts of the country, but it's certainly an interest group that has helped make my opponent a rich man and has been very supportive of him politically. So that's something that I think you could expect to see as a major difference between me and my opponent in the area of tourism. I also, as I said earlier, want to take the pressure off of the pre-Labor Day start by reforming our SOLs to make them much less of a teach to the test exercise and a more generic tracking effort of how our children are doing, how our teachers are doing, how our schools are doing, but one that, for instance, doesn't have to be given to every third grader on the same day everywhere in Virginia, because if you take it on May 15th, it'll be a different test than if you take it on May 24th, than if you take it on June 7th, and so forth. And by allowing that kind of flexibility, we take the pressure off the pre-Labor Day start that is such a big legislative focus for so much of the tourism industry.